Hello and welcome to the Abundantly Favored podcast, where faith meets mindset, gratitude fuels growth, and your words shape your world. We're your hosts, Jenny and Shelley, two sisters, wives, moms, and lifelong encouragers who believe God has richly equipped you to live an abundant life.
Each week, we dive into real conversations about mindset, faith, purpose, and the power of speaking life. Whether you're in the car, on a walk, or curled up with coffee, consider this your weekly dose of encouragement.
Abundantly favored, walking in grace, carried by mercy, held in His place. Abundantly favored, chosen and free, overflowing with love for all to see.
Hello, friends. Welcome back. We are so excited to be here.
Yes, welcome to Holy Week.
Holy Week.
Yes, it's going to be good. Jen, do you guys have, thinking back, like when our kids were little, we're empty nesters now. And
Yes, we are.
what did you guys look forward to for Easter with your kids?
You know, Holy Week is always so fun for me because when our kids were little, I want to say, I don't know, like Jonah and Bailey were probably middle school. No, not middle school. They were more like upper elementary maybe. And Ava was little, maybe even before that. It's so hard to remember. But the priests that we had made Holy Week amazing. They would every year I know, right? Every year they're like, hey, we're going to Holy Thursday, Good Friday, and Holy Saturday Mass, right? I don't think they said it that
Your
way.
kids
Like,
would say this.
yes, yes.
Oh my
The
gosh,
kids were
that's
all, they
awesome.
love it. And I really think that's because, so like Holy Thursday, that's, Jesus washed the disciples' feet. Well, our priest made it so it was so fun because he invited the parishioners to come up and get their feet washed. And then he also let them, like, you could tap the person out, like, hey, it's my turn to wash feet now.
Oh, wow.
And the kids would do that. And it was just so neat. Like, so Holy Thursday, especially, was just a really neat service for our whole family, which was pretty cool.
That is
And
awesome.
there actually was one time when Jonah was in high school that they had a soccer game scheduled for Holy Thursday. And when he saw that, he said, "Are you kidding me? That's Holy Thursday. How
Oh,
did they
that's
think we
so
can have a
awesome,
soccer
Jen.
game?" I know, it was super cool. So he
Yeah.
actually chose going to church over the soccer game. So
Well, that's amazing. He was probably
yeah.
blessed by that for sure.
Yes.
That's awesome. I
Yeah. What
know.
about you?
Well, I was going to say, I remember being in college and it was Good Friday. I almost said Black Friday. Good Friday, different day,
Never
shopping
Good
day, but
Friday.
yes. Um, and I remember, I still remember it, and that has been years ago. But they had two people on opposite sides of the church with like a wooden plank and some kind of like a giant stake or nail or whatever. And before it started, they just started banging those to kind of get you into the feel of what it maybe felt like, sounded
Yes.
like when Jesus was being crucified. And I will never forget that, because sometimes I think it's easy to just think, oh yeah, Jesus died for our sins. Yeah, he died on Good Friday. And you kind of forget like how horrific of a death that was for him as well, too.
hmm
So
hmm I was
that was
able to
impactful.
attend, yeah, after we were married, I was able to attend that church too at St. Stephen's.
Hmm.
And they still did that, and it was super impactful. I think we even brought our kids a couple times,
Oh,
and
wow.
for them to experience that, it was very meaningful as well.
Yes,
And then I
yes.
have to tell you, our church for Holy Saturday, they do amazing music. Like, shout out to
Mm,
Molly, our music minister.
hmm.
Actually,
I got to
sorry,
do a
Molly. Yeah, yeah,
I
you
got to
do.
do a shout out to Gerald too, for he does the music at our church too. I mean, we sing, but it's like Gerald leads and he is like the singer. So we have a really great one
Yes.
too. But you go ahead, Jen.
Yeah,
Yes.
no, it's so cool because so Molly leads our music. She's our liturgical director, I think is what her title is. But her husband is a music professor at Wartburg, a local college. And he brings in, like, so we always have like a little mini band as well, and it
Oh,
is
cool.
amazing. Like, choir practice is no joke. There's like 3 to 4 practices ahead of time, and it is beautiful. It is so
Wow.
cool, and my kids look forward to that too. But they don't live around here anymore. And actually,
Yes.
last Easter, they were all together in Florida. They all, because 2 of the girls live in Florida and Jonah lives in Texas, and they were all together, and we were texting after the Easter vigil, the Saturday, Holy Saturday service, and they were bummed that one song that our church always sings, their church where they were at didn't sing it. And I was like,
Oh,
"Oh, we got it." And
yes.
Will
What was
Dix, who's
that
a
song, Jen? What is
okay,
it? Are you
yeah,
going to sing
thanks,
it?
thanks a lot, Shelley. No, I'm not going to sing it. I could sing it, but I'm not going to sing
You
it.
could.
But it's about the chariots and whatever. Sorry, Molly, if you're listening. I don't remember the name of that song, but it's so good. So
Oh,
anyway, this past year, we had Will Dix, who he's an amazing singer. He's actually out of college. He's an attorney, so he's like, but he came back and he sang it for us, and it
nice.
was just beautiful. So
Oh,
I pray through music, so that was huge for me for
hmm,
sure.
I guess. Well,
So
that's
have you been
awesome.
in the choir and stuff too at your church for
I
Easter?
do. We do. I mean, it's so beautiful and meaningful. The Saturday night service is always longer because it's when we have people join the church. And so it's just it's beautiful. Our music is beautiful. We start out in with all the lights out, candlelight, and then Gerald, our song leader or cantor or whatever you want to call him, he leads us in this beautiful, I'm not even sure what it's called. Sorry, Gerald, but it's just beautiful. And
Yes.
so even though it is a longer service, it's so packed with meaning. So yeah, we
Yeah.
love it. Yeah.
Yes. So same. It's so cool, and we look forward to that as well. But one thing we
Yeah.
haven't done yet on this episode yet, Shelley, is our Bible verse.
Yes, we need to do
So
that.
yes. So the
Would you like?
Bible
Oh, go
verse.
ahead.
Yeah. You want me to do it? Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So the verse that Shelley and I selected for this episode is Colossians chapter 3, verse 2. Set your minds on things above, not on earthly things. So that
Yes.
ties in perfectly to this being Holy Week. And we're so excited to share this with you because we think it fits perfectly with the Easter season. So think of this, okay? So the Easter season is the resurrection mindset. And we are going to
Mm,
dive into that today. If you think about it, Easter is the ultimate flip the script moment. If you guys
yes.
have read our book, you know what we're talking about, what flip the script is. If you don't know what we're talking about, get our book,
Yeah,
right?
get on it,
Um,
people.
yes, but we're going to talk about that a little bit more in this episode. But, really, if we are honest with ourselves, most of us spend a lot of time thinking about our problems,
Hmm.
stress, what might go wrong that typically never does, right?
Yeah.
But Easter reminds us that God specializes in turning impossible situations into something completely new. So today we're going to talk
Yes.
about that. So, what it means to live with a resurrection mindset.
Okay, so like Jenny said in our book, a lot of times we talk about flipping the script. And okay, this might blow your mind, but just think about this. Honestly, Easter was like the ultimate flip the script moment, right? Okay, so hear me out. Hear me out. Think about it. On Friday, everything looked lost. Like hope seemed lost. Jesus was crucified. The disciples were afraid. Here is this man that they like gave up their livelihoods, quit their jobs to follow him, and now he's dead. Like, what in the heck? That is, I mean, think about what that might have been like for them to think, wait a minute, what, even though, Jesus knew what was coming next, and he had tried to kind of say that to the disciples, like, I just don't think they weren't getting it, because when he actually died, it was terrible. It was awful for them. But here's where the flip the script comes. Sunday came, right? Sunday
Mm,
came, and then the entire story changed. So all of a sudden you went from death to victory, right? Despair of the disciples to hope. And then where they had fear, they had that renewed faith. And
mm.
so if there is ever a moment in history where God completely flipped the script, it was at the resurrection, right?
Yes.
Yes.
That is just crazy if you think about it. Like if you put yourself in that situation, as we're both moms, so if we put ourselves in the
Right.
situation of being Mary, number one,
Mm-hmm.
I can't even fathom like the faith that that woman had. Obviously, extreme sadness as well,
Right.
right? But even so, the disciples.
I
Because,
know.
like
I
you said,
know.
they did. They put their trust in Jesus. They left everything to follow him, and then he's gone.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Yep.
love what you said too about he told them what was going to happen, right? But
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they didn't believe it or there's fear in there for
Mm-hmm.
sure as well.
Right. And Jesus liked to talk in parables too. So I think
Mm.
sometimes it's like, yeah, okay, whatever. I'm leaving you soon. I'm leaving. Okay, sure. So yeah, it's the ultimate flip the script.
And what
Right.
does this have to do with our mindset? Okay, so
Mm,
looking back at that Bible verse, so Colossians chapter 3:2 tells us, like I said before, set your mind on things above, not on earthly things. So basically, that means we're really invited to think differently about resurrection. Because, okay, so the world is negative, right?
mm-hmm.
I'm just going to throw that out there. It is.
Yeah,
The
as a
world
whole,
says, yes, it says focus on your problems. Okay, the disciples' problem, Jesus is dead. Okay,
that's a big problem.
that is a big problem for sure.
It's a
So,
big
um,
problem.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
society tells us, or the world says, expect the worst, like negative,
Yes.
negative, negative. For the disciples, there was no hope. I mean, Jesus was gone. What are they to do? The world
Right.
tells us assume defeat, right?
Right.
Like you're not going to win. Like just the world beats you down, right? The disciples, they're like we're lost. Like what do we
Yeah.
do? But then Easter reminds us that God specializes in the impossible turnarounds. Isn't that so
Yes.
cool to think about it?
I
Like
know.
resurrection, it's the positive to the earthly negative.
You are so right, Jenny. So like if you really think about it, what might look like the end actually was just the beginning, right? In our salvation history, what looked like the end was actually the beginning. So how can we use that in our life? Well, if you think about it, when we face challenges, how many times have we had setbacks or moments where we just feel stuck and we just
Mm.
don't know what to do? And so I think it kind of is important to really ask ourselves, like, am I looking at this from an earthly perspective, the doom and gloom, the negative, like all the things you just said, Jen, or can I shift my mindset and think about it as a resurrection perspective instead?
Something you said too, Shelley, just makes me think that, Jesus knew all of this was going to happen and he told his disciples, right? But they didn't listen. It's just like if we go through something that's hard or devastating or even positive, God's not surprised. He already knew it was going to happen.
Right. Right. So true.
So,
So
yeah,
true.
I know. When you look at it from that perspective, it kind of helps you flip the script a little bit, I think,
Yeah.
anyway. And you really can just focus on, okay, God, you knew this was happening. Guide me, help me. What do I do here? Or like
Right.
we talked about in one of the last episodes, Jesus, I trust in you. Have
Hmm.
that be your prayer for sure.
Right. No, I totally get that. Um, a lot of times too, I think in that negative mindset, our words sound more like, like you had mentioned before, Jenny, maybe nothing ever works out for me. I always mess up. The situation is hopeless. And that's where just like the disciples, everything just looked so doom and gloom for them. And I think we can really shift our mindset when we start to go down that worldly view to switch it to, God is still working. Even though the disciples thought this was the end of the story, Jesus dies, the end. He knew that wasn't true. God knew that wasn't true. And so when things like this happen in your life, really think about, what? This might be happening, but God is still working. This doesn't have to be the end of the story, right? Something good can still come of this. And I think when we have that perspective, that's what it really means to live with a resurrection mindset.
Yes. Okay. I'm
Right?
totally geeking out right now because did you just teach them
Is
how to
that
flip the script?
I kind of did, I
You
guess.
did. Like you
Sorry.
said,
Yeah.
no, don't apologize. I love that.
No,
So
no.
nothing ever works out for me. Instead, say, God is still working, right?
Yes.
You say, I
Yes.
always mess things up. You could say, this isn't the end of the story.
Yeah.
Or maybe this situation is hopeless. And I'm sure there's times you guys have felt that way, right? Like what it may
Yeah.
be. But if you focus, one, God is not surprised by this. And two, something good can still come of this. So I love that. Gosh,
Yeah.
Shelley, you're so
Yeah.
good. That
Oh,
is
well,
so
thank you.
cool.
Right back at you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
So,
Yeah.
and I may have said this before, so I apologize if I do, but I really want us to think about like the resurrection wasn't just an event that happened 2,000 years ago. It's actually, think of it as an invitation. So, an invitation to live with hope, right? An invitation to think with faith, an invitation to speak words of life and not the doom and gloom and this is how it's always going to be, right?
Hmm.
Yeah.
That is so good. And I know it can be really hard. Like we're all human, right? And
Yeah.
when things happen, we react.
Yes.
And that's where that awareness piece comes in. But
Mm-hmm.
Shelley and I actually had a mentor that we worked with several years ago. Super successful businessman, positive, 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 like
Mm-hmm.
oozed positivity. He wouldn't let us say problem. He's like, nothing's a problem. It's a challenge and you can overcome your
Yes.
challenges.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, he told a story that he's like, you guys might be shocked by this, but I am a knee-jerk negative person. We're like, what? He said, yes, I've had to
Shocking.
train myself to be positive. Absolutely. So when
Mm-hmm.
you look, for me, when I looked at Dennis was his name, when I look at Dennis and see how incredibly positive he was. And the other thing too is we were so aware when we were around him how we were acting and what we were acting's maybe not the right word, but what came
No.
out of our mouths. Like
Mm-hmm.
that it was awesome. And I guess my goal for all of you is to be that person that people are aware of what they're saying when they're around you.
Right.
And the other thing too is bringing that back to Holy Week and the Easter season that's coming. When we set our minds on things above, on God, we do start to see our lives differently.
Yes.
We
So
start
true.
to expect to see God to move things in our lives. And it's really where I mean, if you think about it, where you start to remember that the same God who rolled away the stone is still working today.
Yes. That's amazing when you really
It
think
gives me
about it.
goosebumps.
It does give me goosebumps too. Yeah. That
Yes.
it's not some distant, far off, excuse me, far off God who, was there for people back 2,000 years ago and now we're on our own. Like he knows the story. He knows how your story is going to end as well.
Right. One
So,
thing we didn't talk about is Shelley and I knew this was going to be posted. We're still learning all the lingo, but Holy Week. So we were in the Easter mindset. So Shelley wore her Easter egg pink, and I wore my Easter egg green. We're like
there you
theming it
go.
up for you guys here.
There you go.
So
In case you
so
didn't
that was
notice.
fun.
Right, right.
So we kind of have a Holy Week challenge for you guys. Are you up for that? I'm gonna
think
hear
they
you
are.
say, "Oh yeah." Oh, they're totally up for it,
They're
which
up
is so
for
cool.
it. That's our people.
They're
They're
up
up for
for
it.
it. Yeah.
Yes.
So pay attention to your thoughts this week, especially when you do catch yourself thinking in fear, doubt, or defeat. Just remember that empty tomb, right?
Yeah.
Because
And
there's
remember,
hope in the resurrection.
there is. And that resurrection invites us to think differently, to speak differently, and ultimately to live differently. So, you
Yeah.
guys, again, friends, if today's episode encouraged you, please, please, please share it with a friend. And follow us on all of our podcasts, or excuse me, our podcast. This is the podcast on all of our social media, abundantlyfavored.com, and then all the socials at Abundantly Favored. And if you have not looked into our book that we have, Wait, Did I Say That? Faith, Mindset, and Why Your Words Matter, or Wait, Did I Pray That? Our 30-day devotional. Please be sure to check those out because this is where it all starts. And it kind of shows you our story, where we came from, why we have this mission, and why we're so excited to help so many people and just help you along in your faith journey.
And both books are available on Amazon or our
Yes.
website. So you can check that out as well.
All right. Well, happy
Thanks so much
Holy
for
Week,
tuning in.
everyone. Yes, happy Holy
Yes.
Week.
And remember that you are abundantly favored.
Yes, you are.